Richard, let me ask you the final play. Take me through it.
Well, I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a certain receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Who? Who indeed? Who is Richard Sherman? The internet exploded with opinions of its own. Thug said at ATT Seagull. At Laura B444 said classless. And creator of the atom bomb chimed in anonymous. With the explosive comments turning the World Wide Web into a disaster along the lines of Bruce Willis's 1987 album, The Return of Bruno, we decided to get an expert's opinion on what exactly people found so offensive about the volatile Sherman's controversial 30-second interview. For that, we found Dr. Godfrey Cumberland, a professor of African American race relations in Today's America at the University of San Francisco. He sat down with us to break down what Cumberland says he's coined as the aversion complex, or, in simpler terms, an aversion to Sherman complex.
Well, it's quite simple, really, when one looks at Mr. Sherman with his wood-brown skin and his angry, barbaric choice of hairstyle. Richard Sherman becomes, in your average middle-class suburban mind, a villain. Like a carjacker, or perhaps a side-order cook. I mean, look at your Muhammad Ali, for example. His prose was no different than Mr. Sherman's, with his claims of being I'm the greatest this, and my opponent is nothing more than the common slug that. However, look at the difference between the two. While Mr. Sherman has the previously stated looks usually attributed to the criminal Negro, you can see that Mr. Ali, with his clean-cut looks and clean-shaven face, could more likely be seen as a professional Negro in an office, or maybe even the less likely corporate Negro, which then brings us full circle to the aversion complex.
Well, at this point, a bit confused, we questioned Dr. Cumberland as to his sources for his aversion theory. He invited us to a personal study where he said he could prove his clean-cut versus non-traditional looks theory by showing simple photographs to school children to see their reaction.
So again, very simply, we wanted to simply gauge children's reactions to these photos, and I must say the results were bloody clear. Appearances do make a difference. Firstly, I showed a picture of Peyton Manning, as many on the internet said that Peyton Manning would not have acted in the way of a Sherman, and as you can see, the child was unaffected by Manning's appearance. However, to my point, the next photo was extremely jarring to the child, proving my point that appearances can make the difference, regardless of context. They can make the difference between acceptance and uncontrollable fear. Indeed, the child would go on to urinate herself as well.
It was at this point we began to feel as if maybe we had made a mistake in choosing Dr. Cumberland as our expert, and it was time to ask the tough questions.
So I gotta ask, are you really British? Because your accent sounds kind of washed out and amateurish.
Am I British? Does Big Ben tell metric time?
We didn't know what that statement meant, and the interview ended shortly after. So, a week later, we drove up to the University of San Francisco to follow up with Dr. Cumberland and have the rest of our questions answered. When we got there, however, we were shocked to learn that not only was Dr. Godfrey Cumberland not a professor at the University of San Francisco, but the university also admitted they could not confirm there was even a place called Britain. The next day, responding to a tip, we tracked down Dr. Cumberland, or who we thought was Dr. Cumberland, sitting outside a liquor store in a lawn chair, wearing the same suit and tie and what we only could determine were sleeping pants from the show The Simpsons. You can see Homer right there. You know what? Now that I think about it, he wore those same sleeping pants at the original interview. Oh, and in the library too. And I guess I don't know too many professors who spend an afternoon in public reading Penthouse. Guess we should have read a little bit more into that. But anyway, we first decided to ask the meaning of the sign he was holding. That simply read, "Justice for Bing Crosby." The answer was as interesting as it was maniacal.
Man, what you think justice for Bing Crosby mean, man? Just this, man. Just this Bing. That's what I'm talking about. Google, Yahoo, Bing, okay? They just gonna make money off Bing Crosby, off the search engine? Come on, man. Think about it. Bing, rhyme with thing, okay? Bing Crosby, Sidney Crosby, a white man, you know what I'm saying? Crosby, Stills, and Nash, okay? Nash Bridges and what you talking about, man?
So, who is the Godfrey Cumberland? Is he the mildly educated but mostly psychotic madman spouting theories of American perception and bias? Or is he this person, a man clearly not British, sitting outside a liquor store in a chair, taking up the cause of an abusive crooner who's been dead for nearly half a century? His answer left no doubt.
Sir Godfrey Cumber, what? Man, my name Vern.
The interview ended at that point. We contacted our longtime producer, Irma Evanshire, to find out where she verified Vern's pedigree. Unfortunately, however, Irma has since checked into rehab for a methamphetamine addiction. When and if she gets released, and when the people responsible for this story, including myself, are back from our 6-month suspension for gross incompetence, we will be sure to follow up.